Hey out there, this is Kevin Strong with Strong Jacobs and Associates, and today is December 29th. It is a Tuesday, 2020. And in this video, I want to talk about housing. I want to talk about forbearance a little bit. And finally, in this video, talking about negative interest rates and how that could possibly affect us as a country moving forward. So without further ado, big news in the housing market. Year over year prices have gone up substantially, and the best they have gone up since 2014. Coming in the top three, Phoenix at 13% year over year increase in terms of housing prices. Seattle, and I think they mean the greater Seattle metropolitan area, that not just the city of Seattle, but nevertheless, Seattle came in at number 2 at 12%, and rounding out the top 3 is San Diego at 12% as well. So what does all of this mean? Those who are drinking the housing Kool-Aid will sit there and say, see, Kevin, I'm telling you, this thing is going to continue to go up. They may be right. Once again, I'm going to double down and say by the second quarter of 2021 or before, we will start to see some substantial cracks in the housing market. But you have to understand, right? We have a national forbearance program for most people who have been adversely and economically affected by COVID. And we have the moratoriums. So when you put all of those together, that's artificially doing two things primarily. They are keeping housing prices up, and they're keeping the lenders from foreclosing on those people who are delinquent, thereby restricting the amount of inventory that can be made available to potential buyers on the housing market. So when you have low supply and high demand, prices go up because there's not that many houses, and that may continue for quite some time. Because if the housing market was truly robust, that really requires two main things without getting into the woods: a vibrant credit flow and income. And we all know that income has been adversely affected in 2020. And this is why you need these moratoriums and these forbearances, because people's incomes have been disrupted because of the health crisis. They can't make their normal mortgage payment, so thereby they have to suspend those payments, thus keeping the market up, and up. Once again, this is artificial. But nevertheless, the numbers are the numbers. And another reason why I think this is ominous is because as these housing prices continue to go up, that affordability crisis, that gap gets wider and wider. I've said in previous videos, there's a lot of people who are living in a home that they can no longer afford based on present home values. They may have purchased those homes 3 or 4 years ago. Those homes may have gone up 10 or 15, and in some markets 20%. Their income has been disrupted because of the health crisis, and as a result, if they had to requalify for that house, they wouldn't. And speaking of requalifying, this is a nice transition into forbearance, because please understand, under most cases, whenever the forbearance and the mortgage moratoriums expire, most lenders are going to require you to requalify for the house all over again, because you told the lender that your income has been adversely affected because of the health crisis. And if you've gone 6, 9, or 12 months and have not made a payment, then all of a sudden that protection that you're under the CARES Act expires. You got to prove to the lender that you can still maintain that house. Unemployment doesn't count. PPP loans do not count. Sustainable, verifiable income. Otherwise, you're going to be looking at some other alternatives. Once again, this is why I came up with this very, very extensive step-by-step guideline for a loan modification, and I've dropped the link. At least it gives you a preview of what that course is all about. I dropped it in my business page and on my home personal page on Facebook, just to kind of give you an idea how much work has gone into that. But anyway, I digress. So I talked about forbearance. I talked about the housing prices. And yeah, I think we're really, really possibly looking at negative interest rates, definitely by the second quarter of 2021. The Fed has already come out and been on record saying, hey, we're not even touching rates until at least 2023. It's going to be much longer than that. We don't have any ammo in the tank. We're already pretty much at 0%. So what can the Fed do to spark or to reignite the economy? They definitely can't raise interest rates, because that would just further exacerbate this current situation that we're in. We would literally implode within 90 days. So the only way to potentially try to, quote unquote, put some juice in that dead battery to get the car starting again is to go below the 0% rate where we're at right now, which would take us into negative territories. Ask the country of Japan about how that's working out for them. It is not. It is not. And we're definitely headed towards negative rates. So the landscape looks very ominous. I was just talking to a good friend who just recently got his real estate license. He's doing well. We'll just call him Mr. M. And we're just talking, back and forth today, and I'm really proud of him. He knows who I'm talking about. And I just, he's at a quandary. He's like, hey, man, I don't know if I should sell my house. I'm keep hearing all these things about, some people think that this market's going to continue, and then there's other people say that it's not. And my analogy is like, hey, I might be wrong, but like I've said before, doesn't matter where you get on the elevator or if you get off early and you keep riding that elevator, so you're looking down on the people who you think got off earlier, got out of the housing market earlier. So you're laughing at them, say, see, this thing is going to continue to go up. But at some point in time, the two cables that are keeping that elevator intact are going to snap at the most inopportune moment, and it will be abrupt. And when that happens, everybody in that elevator is going to come falling down. It's going to be a moot point whether you get on the elevator on the 3rd floor or you rode it all the way up to the penthouse or beyond. If you're on that elevator when those cables snap, you're in trouble. And then the person who maybe got off on the 3rd floor, who you laughed at, is at a safe landing spot. So I hope you found this video in a good place. My motto, please pay down your debt before your debt gets a hold of you. And my simple company tagline, consumer and business debt relief. And I'll see you guys in the next video.